Good day, everyone. You are welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we will be continuing our lessons on rules of Concord. And the next rule we'll be talking about today is rules regarding how we use fractions, percentages, part, and the rest. Okay. When these words are used as the subject, when you use fractions, percentages, part, and the rest, it is the noun or pronoun after the of that will determine our verb. If the noun shows plural verb, plural noun, if the subject is in plural, then our verb will be in plural. For example, 60% of the unskilled workers. Workers is a plural noun. That will be are retained yearly by the company, not is. 3/4 of the church building. Church building is a singular noun, so that's why we use was painted by the members the previous day. 3/4 of the hostel has been painted. You can see hostel is singular noun. 3/4 of the people, you can see people here is a plural noun, in the village were killed, but only half of the huts were what affected. The rest of the paragraph, the same rule is still what we use for the rest, the part. The rest of the paragraph is a singular noun, is not clear to me. The rest of the paragraphs, now this time around a plural noun, are not clear to me. A large part of the people which a plural noun in my church take Holy Communion. Only part of the sermon is singular, was audible. Let's try out these quick exercises. 3/4 of the physics class, that's what improves. Physics class is what is singular, improves dramatically. 3/4 of the church building. Church building is a singular noun. So the answer is what? Dash painted by the members the previous day. That is was. The reason why it could be was or is, but the reason why we picked was over is because of this previous day, which denotes what? Past tense. 60% of the unskilled workers, that's what? Are retained. Please, are retained, not are retained. The next rule of Concord we'll be talking about is how we use indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronouns, they include everybody, nobody, somebody, anybody, everything, nothing. And we call them indefinite because they are not referring to someone in particular, right? That's why we call them indefinite. And so the rule says that anytime we use any of these indefinite pronouns, we must use it with what? Singular verb. We must use it with singular verb. So we say everybody deserves to be rich. Everything has been put in place for the next event. Nobody was around to rescue the poor man. Everyone is happy with the news. Not everyone are happy. Not everybody desire. I do hope you understand that. Then let's talk about how we use every and each. When each or every is used, the noun and the verb after it must be singular. Exactly. It must be singular. And so, if it is singular, if it's a single noun that comes after it, so what kind of verb will definitely come after it? That would be a word, a singular verb. For example, every good mother, which is a singular noun rather, loves children. Every student is capable of doing well in the examination hall. In the examination, I beg your pardon. Each room has been refurbished. So when each or every is followed by two or more singular nouns joined with and, then the verb is still what? Singular. Each man and woman, it is still singular, has gone to witness the occasion. Each and every one of you is expected to contribute significantly to the new development. Every leader and follower is welcome to the meeting. I bought a dozen eggs and every one of them was bad. Each minister, elder, church choir and members and ushers sings and dances to celebrate the new year. Every programming language and software package has its limitation. So what they are saying is that when you use each and every, it must be followed by a singular noun and a singular verb. And even when you use each and every with two or more nouns that is joined together by and, the verb still remains singular. The next concord we will talk about is relative concord, relative pronoun or relative concord. Relative concord occurs when the subject is followed by of, or when a relative pronoun who, that, which, whose comes after a noun. In these cases, the form of the subject determines the form of the verb, and we have different ways that it can occur. Let's take it one after the other. So when of is used in this case, if it is singular subject followed by a plural noun, then it will be a singular verb. So it will be the one that is coming from here, that singular subject will determine our verb. Look at the second one. The plural subject will determine our verb. Let's see. One of the thieves has been captured. That is one, that is the singular subject. The thieves, plural noun. So we are not interested in these thieves because it is one of them that has been captured. What about if it is two? Two of the thieves have been captured. Two of the boys two of the boys are missing now, or one of the boys is missing now. One of the rioters has been set free. One of the schools of thought suggests, you can see, one of the schools, so these schools must be in plural, of thought suggests, singular verb, selective marking of errors. A survey of opinions has, because it is this a survey that will determine our verb. A wide range of options was made available. A pair of shoes was found yesterday. I do hope you understand that. Let's look at another aspect of relative concord. So when any of the relative pronoun is used, it is still the one that determine the verb. It is the subject that will determine the verb. Ahmed is one of the boys who do good work. Now, this one is different from the previous one. One of the thieves has been captured. Here now, these boys, you can see that here we didn't really use the relative pronoun, right? But here the relative pronoun is introduced, and relative pronoun here is who, right? Now the question is, this who is referring to which subject? Is it Ahmed or the boys? The who is referring to the boys. That's why we use a plural verb, which is do. Ahmed is one of the boys who do good work. Here, Ahmed is not the only one that does good work. Ahmed is just one of the many people that do good work. He is one of those who teach in my school. It's not the only one that teaches. You who are convicted should appeal. Please take note of this, especially my students that are preparing for any English related exam. You who are, because we say you are convicted. You can't say you is convicted. Do you know one of the boys who play in my premises? You can see one of the boys who play, that is, those boys play. It's not one boy that plays. Let's look at another aspect of relative concord. When two verbs appear, that's double control. Sometimes a relative clause contains two verbs. In this case, the first verb is determined by the noun before the relative pronoun, while the second verb is determined by the main subject of the verb. Let's see. The quality of your questions, which have always attracted attention, has never been in doubt. So the quality of your questions, so these questions now, that's the one that will determine this verb, because this which is talking about the question, and then this has is related to the quality. One of the women who sell in the premises has been ordered to quit. That is, many women sell in the premises, but one of them has. So this one is one that determines this verb has. This women is one that determines the verb sell. One of the rioters who were arrested yesterday has been released. So always focus on the true subject The word that controls the verb, not the one that is close to it. The one that control, it is that one, the quality one, that's the one that control the verb. Are you getting what we are saying? Concord we talk about is parenthesis and concord. What is a parenthesis in the English language? It is a word, phrase, or sentence that is added to give extra information. It is usually separated by brackets, commas, or dashes. So if you remove the parenthesis, the sentence still makes sense. So the rule is this. So when a sentence has a parenthesis, we are not concerned about the parenthesis. So the main subject outside the parenthesis will determine the verb. Ignore the parenthesis first, then pick the correct verb. Let's look at the example. The employer, not the salesman and his representative. So this not the salesman and his representative is the parenthesis. You can see separated by comma. So it's the employer that will determine our verb. That's why it is responsible for the loss. So if you remove the parenthesis, it will read the employer is responsible for the loss. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker Dr. Oni is also a resident doctor at the teaching hospital. So without ladies and gentlemen, we have what? Dr. Oni is what? Is a resident. The effort made by the principal to get the students serious is appreciated. So made by the principal to get the students serious is what? Is the parenthesis, because without it the sentence we read the effort is appreciated. The director, no less than his workers, is to blame. His chances in the games have been seriously jeopardized. Catering for a wide range of people is their specialty. Knowledge of figures of speech as well as idioms and lexical items is tested in this section. So how, if you are a student listening to me and you want to learn how to answer a parenthesis concord in the examination hall, just remove the parenthesis, all the words in the bracket, commas or dashes, then look at the subject that remains, then match the subject with the word with the right verb, and then you will get your answer. It is as simple as that. So we have come to the end of this part of our lessons on rules of concord. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, drop your sentences. Practice makes perfect, remember. So practice by dropping your sentences in the comment section. I will review it and give you feedback. And most importantly, subscribe to this YouTube channel and share the link to this channel to anybody that may be interested, a student, a professional, or any individual that is interested in improving their English fluency. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.